Hello everyone, I am Vijay Katta, and in today's lecture we will discuss the most important functioning of the network layer, that is called as the routing mechanism. So today we will study the routing algorithms. So on the broad sense, routing algorithms are divided into two parts. First one is called as a non-static routing algorithm, that is called a non-adaptive routing algorithm, that is called as a static, and second one is called as the adaptive routing algorithm, that is called as the dynamic routing algorithm. So in the static routing algorithm, the all parameters, the path is computed in advance in offline mode and downloaded to routers when the network is booted. It means if some changes are occurred in the network after installing or after putting this routing algorithm, then the wrong path will be selected and it might be possible your complete mechanism will be failure. Second one is called as the adaptive routing algorithms. So in it is a dynamic routing algorithms. So whenever some changes occurred in the network, like changes in the topology, changes in the traffic load, then it is reflected in the decision taken for selection of the route. So it means in dynamic algorithms, routes has been selected according to the current network scenario. Now, to identify the current network scenario, we use some parameters. So along with these parameters, we optimize our routes. So the few parameters are bandwidth, that is nothing but the throughput speed in the bits per second. Second one is called as the cost, that is an arbitrary value given assigned by the administrator. Third one is the network latency or network delay, which occurs due to the distance or a congestion parameter. And most important parameter is called as the hop count. So hop count is nothing but the number of routers a packet passes through its destination. It means a number of routers packet leaves to reach to the destination is called as the hop count. So whenever packet leave any router, the hop count is incremented by 1. Next one is called as the traffic load, MTU, maximum transmission unit, and the some reliability factors. So on the broader sense, our routing algorithms is again divided into two parts. First one is called as the intra-domain routing algorithm, and second one is called as the inter-domain routing algorithm. So in the intra-domain routing algorithm, depending upon how routers share their routing table with each other, we have two types of techniques. One is called as a distance vector routing algorithm, and another one is called as a link state routing algorithm. One example of distance vector is a RIP, and one example of link state is a OSPF. In the next slide, we will discuss this one. On other hand, in the inter-domain routing algorithms, we use a path vector algorithm, that is called as a BGP. Now, intra-domain is called as a within autonomous system, means within a single ISP. So within single ISP, if we want to perform routing, we can use either of this routing algorithm. And between ISP and ISP, matlab different internet service providers, then we use the inter-domain routing algorithm. So again, RIP, that is a routing information protocol, and IGRP, interior gateway routing protocol, are the examples of distance vector routing algorithm. In most of the university, they ask the question on RIP protocols. Now, from link state point of view, OSPF, that is open shortest path, this is again an important one from the university exam point of view. And integrated IS, that is an integrated intermediate system. And from the inter-domain routing, we have a BGP, border gateway protocol. So from the again university point of view, RIP, OSPF, and BGP are the important examples. You have to study in depth. Now, there is a one technique called as a flooding. So flooding is a technique in which the incoming packet is broadcasted or transferred on all outgoing lines except the line from which it arrives. So flooding is basically technique which is adopted in the some link state routing algorithm for sharing their routing tables with the another router. So in flooding, the same packet is multiplicated and transferred on each outgoing line. It means there is a chances that at destination n number of same packet will be duplicated packet will be received. Now the question is how destination will react to this multiple or duplicated packets. Now, this is a very serious issue. To resolve these issues, we put a sequence number on each packet. So, if a duplicate sequence number packet will be received, then that packet will not be forwarded and it will be discarded. So, we use a TTL time here. Whenever the packet will be transferred, the time immediately the TTL's time will be reduced. This is the one parameter. Now, what are the advantages of this flooding technique? So, in the flooding technique, we never need any routing table. We does not need a topological knowledge because it is a very simple technique. We forward each coming packet. But the disadvantage of this technique is there is a unneeded traffic. A duplicated packet has been created there on each link. So your most of the bandwidth is wasted in transmission of the same packet. So this is the biggest disadvantage. But still, we are using this flooding technique for some purposes, like in some ad hoc wireless networks where nodes, that is nothing but our laptops or mobiles or moving devices, move quickly. So to identify these devices, we use the flooding technique. And most important thing, for forwarding the controller topological information, that is called as the routing information, in the link state routing algorithm. Now, link state routing algorithms are currently used in many technologies. Now, another concept is called as the shortest path algorithm. Uh, I know most of you are already studied the shortest path concept in DA subject. So, rather than giving a detailed description, I will just explain one example here. So suppose I have to transfer a packet from A to D here. Now this is a network topology given and the weight of each link has been mentioned here. Now to choose a shortest path, first A will identify the nearest router's node. So the node of B, that is it's a 2. So if packet and its node is 6, so A will choose the shortest path, that is a B. So when packet will arrive at B, its weight will be 2 comma A. A similar pattern 6 comma A. Although packet is not arrived here, but this is weight is assigned during the selection of the router. Now to transfer this packet on the next line, B will assign a weight to its neighbor. So E and C are the neighbors of the B. So its weight will be updated as 2 plus 7. So that is nothing but 9. So the weight of C is 9. And if packet arrived here, then it will arrive from node B. Similar pattern, the weight of E will be, current is infinity dash. So load will be 2 plus 2, that is nothing but 4 comma B. So the from all available weight, that is G 6 comma A, 4 comma B and 9 comma B, the shortest weight is 4. So from B, packet will transfer to, or next route will be E. So A, B, E. Now similar pattern, E will update the weight of its nearer routers. So E is connected with G and E is connected with F. So G has a 6A. Now if packet will transfer to G, then its weight will be 4 plus 1 because the weight of G to E is 1. So 4 plus 1 is 5. So we will update the weight of G, that will not 6A now, it will be 5E. And next one will be the weight of F is equals to 6E. 4 is already here. The weight from E to F is 2. So that is 6E. Now from all available one, the shortest one is this path, that is a G. So packet, we will select the next node is equals to G. But this is a special problem here. Loop back will be performed here. Again packet will loop back to E because when packet will be here, the next route will be identified. So G will update its neighbor's weight, that is its neighbor is H. So H weight will be 9. Now from all available one, 9G, 6E and 9B, the shortest is F. So packet will be loop back here. It means now final route will be A, B, E and F, not G. So A, B, E, F, similar pattern. From F, we will update the update the weight of its nearest router, that is a C and H. So their weight will be 9B and 8F. So from the available shortest path, that is from in between 9B and 8F, 8 is the shortest one, packet will transfer to H, and similar pattern. After that, packet will update it to D. So this is a one example, one technique of the shortest path algorithm. Now, this approach has been used here. Now, in distance vector routing algorithm, we use distributed Bellman-Ford algorithm. And in link state routing algorithm, we use Dijkstra's routing algorithm. So this is an important one. When we will compare distance vector and link state routing algorithm, both are the intra-domain routing algorithms. Then one is use distributed Bellman-Ford, another uses a Dijkstra's routing algorithm. Now start with the distance vector routing algorithm. Now first and most important thing, in distance vector routing algorithm, each router has a knowledge about whole network. Second thing, routing table shared only with its neighbor. So whenever each router will share its routing table with the neighbor routers, they will interchange their network informations. And third one, this sharing will be performed at regular interval. Again, in distance vector routing algorithm, these are the three important points: knowledge about whole network. Second, routing table shared with only neighbors router. And third one, this routing sharing is performed at the regular interval. While in link state routing algorithm, each router has a knowledge about only neighbors. Now this is a major difference. Second, routing table is flooded to all routers. And third one, information sharing when there is a change. So there is no need to perform a periodic basis. So this is a major difference between the link state routing algorithm and distance vector routing algorithm. So again, my today's topic is again distance vector routing algorithm. So I have each router has a knowledge about whole network. Routing table shares only with the neighbors to perform the update in routing table. And next one is called as the information sharing at the regular intervals. So take one example. I have taken this example from Frozen's slide. So this is a one network topology here. Net 14 means 14.0.0.0. 78 means 78.0.0.0, and similar pattern, all network IDs has been defined. Now these boxes, that's A, B, C, D, E and F, they it represents a routers. So to connect two different networks, we require a router here. Now next thing is, according to our concept we discuss here, that in the distance vector routing algorithms, we will try to update the routing tables here. So A, because it is a distance vector routing algorithm, A will transfer its knowledge with its neighbor, that is with B, F and E. Now your F will interchange its information only with A because it is only connected to router A, while B will share its routing table with A and C. Now what is routing table? Now routing table has a n number of parameters, out of which we have discussed only three here. First one is called as the network ID, second one is the cost, and third one is called as the next hop. So take the routing table of A. So routing table of A, network ID is 14. To reach on this network, packet has to leave only one router, that is called as a router A. So I have assigned cost is equals to 1 and next hop is equals to dash, because we can directly reach to the network 14. Similar pattern for to reach on the network 23, the cost is 1. To reach on network 78, cost is 1 and next hop is dash dash. And in this pattern, for the routing table B, to reach on network 14, I had to leave one router, so cost is 1. To reach on 55, again cost is 1. And in similar pattern, we have developed the routing table for individual routers. In next one, each in distance vector routing algorithm, each router share their routing table with the neighbors. It means A will share routing table to B, A share routing table to F, and A will share routing table to E. So in the example, suppose I said ki I have router A received a table from B. Router A has received a table from B. Now, how this update operation is performed, we will focus. It is focused in the particular slide. So I have received the information 14.1, 55.1 from B, and this is the old routing table of A 14.1 dash 23.1 dash 78.1 dash. Now we merge that one, but before merging, we add one hop, means one router here. So 14 to B, 55 to B. This is a adjustment value. This is a value that we received from router B, and then we have adjusted. Now we will merge both the routing tables. Now during merging operation, we will keep the information. We will not put a duplicate entries. If duplicate entries are there, then we will choose the shortest values. In fact, we will again choose a updated values also there. So after keeping the rules 14.1 dash 23.1 dash and 71 dash, these are the already information that's available in router A. Now the new information is 55 2B. So I will update 55 2B. What about 14 2B? Because we have already information that to reach on network 14, the hop count is only 1, and next information is to reach on network 14, hop count is 2. So 1 is the shortest one, so we will keep this here, and this particular entry will be discarded. So this is a new routing table. According to this fashion, each router will update in their routing table. So after certain information, after certain round of sharing of routing tables, each router has a complete knowledge about the networks, although they are not directly connected, but with the information received from routers, the routing table is updated here. So this is a mechanism how the routing table is updated. I have already discussed these things with you. Now the major issue related with the distance vector algorithm is called as a count to infinity problem. So I will discuss this in my next lecture.